The crown didn't just slip this time, it shattered. And the sound of it breaking is echoing all the way from the federal courtroom to the boxing ring. Claressa Shields, the woman who called herself the GWOT, is reportedly sitting behind bars, and the entire internet is going into an absolute meltdown mode. We are talking about $900,000 in fraud evidence, federal interest, and a reputation that is burning down in real time. But that is not even the part that has people's jaws on the floor. The real shocker? Papoose has finally broken his silence. But he didn't come out with a "Free Claressa" sign. No. He came out with a legal team and a public statement that looks more like a cold-blooded betrayal than a defense. According to the streets, he just threw Claressa completely under the bus to save his own neck. Before we dive into these messy receipts and the bombshell he just dropped, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Is Papoose a snake for leaving her when things got hot? Or is he just being smart? Whose side are you really on? Because this story just turned from a romance into a high-stakes federal investigation. For months, the biggest question haunting the comment sections of every major blog was simple. Where is Papoose? While Claressa Shields was online every single day, fighting off critics, defending their relationship, and practically acting as his shield against the world, Papoose was a ghost. He wasn't liking her posts, he wasn't standing in the background of her lives, and he certainly wasn't offering the public support that Claressa kept insisting was happening behind the scenes. But now, the silence has finally been broken, and the way it happened has sent shockwaves through the culture. This wasn't a romantic reunion or a statement of loyalty. This was a calculated, cold-blooded tactical retreat. According to the latest report circulating through the industry, as soon as the word "arrest" and the phrase $900,000 fraud investigation became attached to Claressa's name, Papoose's entire energy shifted. He didn't just distance himself. He reportedly handed the situation over to a high-powered legal team to ensure his name was nowhere near the paperwork. The betrayal is sitting heavy on the internet right now because Papoose didn't just stay quiet. He reportedly issued a statement through his representatives that has left Claressa's supporters speechless. In this bombshell move, Papoose is effectively claiming that he was completely blindsided by the financial allegations. The narrative he is pushing now is that he was a victim of manipulation, suggesting that he had no idea what was happening with the business side of the Win Records and Salida Promotions partnership. Imagine that for a second. The man who was brought into the deal as the creative director, the man who Claressa herself said was the reason the deal even happened, is now saying he was just an innocent bystander who didn't know how the math was being calculated. But the part that is really twisting the knife into the fans is that Papoose reportedly admitted that Remy Ma was right all along. This is the ultimate "I told you so" moment that the internet never expected to see. For over a year, Remy Ma has been the villain in Claressa's story. Claressa spent hours on live stream calling Remy bitter, calling her jealous, and claiming that Remy was just mad that she lost a good man. But now, in a desperate attempt to save his own reputation and keep his record clean from a federal fraud case, Papoose is allegedly echoing the very things Remy said in her diss track. According to the narrator, Papoose is now telling his inner circle and his legal advisors that he should have listened to the warnings. He is reportedly distancing himself from Claressa's erratic behavior and claiming that the smear campaign against Remy was never his idea. He's essentially painting a picture where he was tricked into a relationship that was built on a house of cards. The betrayal is looking deep because he isn't just leaving her while she's down. He's handing the public the shovel to bury her reputation while he walks away with his hands clean. The internet is absolutely turning against her fast because of this. Fans who once cheered for Claressa are now looking at her like she's a liability. People are pointing out that while she was out here trying to prove she was the new queen and the new ride or die, the man she was riding for was already planning his exit strategy. The narrator believes that Papoose is trying to cleanse his brand before the IRS and the Fed start looking at his own tax history. If you remember the previous reports about his alleged tax debt, it makes perfect sense why he would throw anyone, even the woman he claimed to love, under the bus to keep the spotlight off his own bank accounts. The strategy is clear. Papoose wants to go back to being the respected lyricist and the stand-up guy, and he realizes that he can't do that while being tied to a $900,000 fraud case. By publicly admitting that Remy Ma was right, he is attempting to win back the respect of the hip-hop community that he lost when he started looking messy in the blogs with Claressa. He's betting on the fact that if he humbles himself and admits he made a mistake with Claressa, the public will forgive him and forget about the fraud. But Claressa's fans are calling it the ultimate snake move. They are pointing out that he was perfectly happy to fly on those private jets and enjoy the luxury lifestyle that Claressa was providing when things were good. But the moment the paperwork got messy, he folded like a lawn chair. The energy in the streets has completely shifted, and the GWOAT is finding out the hard way that when the spotlight turns into a searchlight, the people standing next to you are the first ones to run for the shadows. They say time is the ultimate truth teller, but in the case of Remy Ma, time has become a loud, echoing, "I told you so." We have to look back at the blueprint to understand why this $900,000 legal nightmare feels so familiar. For over a year, the internet watched as Claressa Shields mocked Remy, calling her clown behavior and bitter for exposing those infamous DMs. But today, the laughter has stopped. The narrator says we need to pay close attention to the lyrics in Remy's latest heat, "WI Fell," when she rapped, "Always claiming you helped AN. Go help yourself." She wasn't just throwing random shade. She was dropping a warning about a pattern of financial dependency and credit-taking that she lived through for 17 years. Remy reportedly tried to school Claressa early on, basically asking why a world-class athlete would attach her bag to a man whose own career has been fueled by the success of the women standing next to him. The prophecy is sitting heavy right now because everything Remy hinted at is coming true. She warned that the ride-or-die image was a trap, and that the man claiming to be the provider was allegedly just the latest come-up artist. Critics are now looking back at Remy's calm demeanor during the peak of the drama and realizing she wasn't just being quiet. She was waiting for the paperwork to do the talking. The narrator believes Remy knew exactly how this would end because she's seen the same executive roles and business partnerships play out before. While Claressa was busy playing Bonnie to a man she thought was her Clyde, Remy already knew the credits were about to roll on a failed remake. The lesson is simple. You can ignore the messenger, but you can't ignore the receipts when they finally arrive in federal court. Now, we have to talk about the math that finally stopped mathin'. The $900,000 question that has federal investigators knocking on doors is no longer just a rumor. It's a paper trail. According to the breakdown of this messy situation, the evidence against Claressa isn't just about a few missing checks. It's about a massive fraud scheme that allegedly operated right under the nose of the boxing world. People are looking at the Win Records and Salida Promotions partnership under a massive microscope now. Remember how we broke down those infamous 360 deals? The kind where everyone takes a slice of the pie before the talent even sees a crumb? Critics are now suggesting that this $8 million deal was nothing more than a front. The narrator believes that while Claressa was the face and the muscle, someone else was the architect behind the books. The theory is that money was being moved around to cover up old, heavy debts, possibly the same tax debts we've been hearing about for years. The most disturbing part of the investigation is how the money allegedly vanished. Reports suggest that $900,000 meant for promotion and business expansion was redirected into personal accounts. And while Papoose was acting as the high-level creative director, he is now reportedly claiming he was just the talent who didn't have access to the bank logins. It's the ultimate fall girl setup. Claressa is the one who signed the contracts. She's the one who held the press conferences. And now, she's the one wearing the handcuffs while the men in the suits are making unaware statements from the safety of their homes. It's a classic music industry trap played out in a boxing ring. And Claressa is the one taking all the punches. But don't think for a second that Claressa Shields is going to sit quietly in a cell while her world turns to ash. The GWOAT is reportedly cornered, and for the first time in her life, she isn't fighting an opponent she can see in a ring. She's fighting a betrayal she never saw coming. According to sources close to the situation, the atmosphere inside her legal team is pure chaos. Claressa is reportedly beyond furious, feeling like she was served up as a sacrificial lamb on a silver platter. The internal tension is reaching a breaking point because the woman who once said, "I'll never stop talking about my man," is now reportedly screaming his name for a very different reason. The narrator says the latest word from behind those bars is that Claressa feels completely played. She defended Papoose against Remy Ma. She defended him against the blogs, and she even defended him against her own fans, only for him to distance himself the moment the feds stepped into the room. The rumor mill is spinning out of control with claims that Claressa has reached her limit. She's reportedly told her circle that if she's going down for this $900,000 fraud, she isn't taking the fall alone. She allegedly has her own black box of receipts, encrypted texts, secret bank transfers, and private emails that prove Papoose was never just a bystander. He wasn't just the talent or a creative director. He was reportedly deep in the decision-making process. The video ends on this massive bombshell. If Papoose doesn't use his connections to fix this mess, Claressa is reportedly ready to expose everything. She's threatening to blow the lid off his tax secrets and the real destination of that missing money. The energy has shifted from ride or die to, if I go down, we all go down. The receipts are out, the silence is broken, and the real war is just beginning. At the end of the day, this is no longer just a headline about a boxing champion in trouble. This is a cold lesson in brand protection and the high cost of blind loyalty. The math has finally caught up to the movement, and the result is a total collapse of the image Claressa Shields spent years building. Whether she was the mastermind or just a pawn in a much larger game, the reality remains the same. The federal government doesn't care about ride or die narratives. They only care about the paperwork. The narrator believes we are witnessing one of the greatest falls from grace in sports history, made even worse by a betrayal that feels straight out of a movie script. Papoose's decision to break his silence by aligning himself with Remy Ma's original warnings is the ultimate plot twist. It's a move that has effectively stripped Claressa of her last bit of public support, leaving her isolated and cornered behind bars. The math is simple, but the consequences are heavy. When the money vanishes and the feds arrive, the loudest person in the room is usually the first one to look for an exit. But as the dust settles on this $900,000 fraud scandal, the real question isn't just about what happened. It's about what happens next. Is Claressa going to flip the script and take everyone down with her? Or is this the permanent end of the GWAT era? Music. Now, we want to hear from you, because the internet is split right down the middle on this one. We've got 4 major questions for the community today. Do you think Papoose was secretly the one pulling the strings behind the fraud while letting Claressa take the heat? Is Claressa being set up as the ultimate fall girl by a team that knew exactly how to hide the paper trail? Does Papoose admitting Remy Ma was right make him a changed man? Or just a snake trying to save his own skin? If Claressa starts leaking those private receipts from jail, who do you think is going down next? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this situation is getting more layered by the minute. If you think Claressa is innocent, tell us why. If you think Papoose is wrong for leaving her, let it be known. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. We are staying locked into this case, and you do not want to miss the next update when those jailhouse receipts finally go viral.